Do you ever feel like you're doing everything you can to be the kind of leader you want to be and are still falling short? You're slammed with deadlines, nonstop pressure, and a team that always needs more. But there's only one of you. And while you're busy handling the urgent, the important stuff like building a culture that actually empowers people and maybe eases the pressure on you keeps getting pushed aside. I coach leaders in your shoes. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 simple steps to build a culture that inspires trust, brings out the best in your people, and helps your team truly thrive. The best part? It starts with small, powerful shifts, one step at a time. These ideas are grounded in neuroscience, human development, and a philosophy we call axiogenics self-leadership, the practice of creating value in every decision, conversation, and interaction. Ready? Let's start with the one thing that changes everything: how you think. Step 1. Cultivate self-awareness. Consider this: how you think drives how you lead. But up to 90% of our thinking is unconscious, shaped by habits, stress responses, and mental shortcuts we're not even aware of. That's why so many leaders fall into patterns of reacting rather than choosing. When you build self-awareness, you create space to pause, consider, and lead with intention. And research backs this up. Self-aware leaders are rated more effective by their employees 83% of the time. Try this. Start and end your day by asking, what choice can I make and action can I take in this moment to create the greatest net value? This simple question pauses your automatic thinking habits, giving yourself a moment to choose. Build in reflection breaks throughout your day. On your way into work, home from work, or even 2 minutes between meetings can reset your mind. Ask someone you trust to reflect what they see in your leadership, the good and the blind spots. Step 2, communicate with clarity. We all communicate, right? But do you intentionally communicate clearly? That's a different game. Your brain fills in gaps when things aren't clear. So does your team's. That's where frustration, stress, and confusion start. Great communication isn't about talking more. It's about saying what matters in a way that people understand and remember. In fact, companies with effective communication are 4.5 times more likely to retain top talent. Try this. Start with the why before you talk about what needs to be done. After every meeting, send a short recap of key decisions and next steps, and ask, what did you take away from this conversation, to confirm understanding, not just compliance. If this is resonating with you, I've created a free guide called The One Question That Changes Everything. It's a tool you can start using right away to shift out of reactivity and into thoughtful, grounded leadership. You'll find the link in the description. No cost, no pressure, just support. Step 3, be flexible and future-focused. The best leaders don't just react, they adapt. They stay open, curious, and willing to shift when something isn't working. But here's the thing, your brain loves the familiar, even when it's not effective. That's why real leadership means learning to pivot with purpose, not panic. When you lead with flexibility, you signal trust, courage, and possibility, and your team follows suit. It's no surprise that 71% of employees say they perform better when their leaders are open to new ideas. Try this. Replace no with tell me more, at least once a day. Make small course corrections. Don't wait for the big overhaul. And host what-if conversations that focus on possibilities, not just problems. Step 4, lead by example. People don't just listen to you, they watch you. Your team is constantly reading your behavior. What you model, tolerate, or ignore teaches. Your consistency is your credibility. Humans are hardwired for mirroring. Our brains unconsciously copy or mirror the emotions, behaviors, and attitudes we observe in others. Mirror neurons fire not just when we act, but when we observe someone else taking action. That means your leadership, what you model day in and day out, literally has the power to rewire how your team thinks and behaves. When your actions reflect your words, your people learn that they can trust not just what you say, but how you lead. And this kind of behavioral congruence is powerful. 63% of employees say they trust leaders more when actions match values. So the question is, what are you modeling? Try this. Pick one value to intentionally model each week. Share stories when your team lived the culture and celebrate it. And when you miss the mark, own it and show your team how to grow through it. Step 5, prioritize your own growth. You can't grow a high-performing team if you're running on empty. Your brain needs new input to build new insights. Thanks to neuroplasticity, your brain continues to grow and form new connections well into adulthood, but only when it's challenged with new learning and reflection. Without it, old patterns just get stronger. Growth isn't selfish, it's strategic, and it matters. Leaders who prioritize their development are 2.4 times more likely to lead high-performing teams. Try this. Schedule 1 hour a week for your growth. No excuses. Set one personal growth goal each quarter. Pair up with a peer or coach to challenge your thinking. Step 6. Recognition is powerful. People do their best work when they feel seen, valued, and appreciated. But recognition isn't just nice to have, it's neuroscience. When you acknowledge someone's effort, their brain releases dopamine and oxytocin, the chemicals that fuel motivation, trust, and connection. It literally rewires the brain to want to keep showing up. That's why recognition doesn't just feel good, it works. In fact, it can boost engagement by up to 30%. Try this. Begin meetings with small wins. Even sharing a quick public shout-out matters. Write one handwritten thank you note every week. You might be surprised how many people keep this kind of note. And recognize behaviors, not just results. Say, that took courage. I noticed. Step 7, shape the culture you want. If you want a culture that empowers people, encourages better thinking, and aligns action with purpose, then what you're actually building is a value-genic culture, one that puts value creation and the best outcomes for all concerned at the center of everything. And that's not just good leadership, it's good business. Organizations with strong cultures see 29% higher profitability. Culture doesn't happen by accident. It happens by default or by design. And you're designing it every day. Every decision you make, every comment, every one-on-one you skip or consistently make time for, it all signals what matters here. So let me ask you, what values are you modeling most often? What behaviors are you rewarding or letting slide? This happens at the neurological level too. When people experience consistent signals about what's valued through reinforcement, inclusion, and clarity, their brains adapt. Culture becomes internalized, guiding behavior even without direct oversight. Try this. Make creating net value your cultural foundation. Talk openly about what a value-genic culture looks like and model it. And hold everyone, including yourself, accountable to those standards. Final thoughts. Leadership is personal. You're not just managing tasks, you're shaping how people feel about themselves, their work, and each other. When you lead with awareness, act with integrity, and build a culture that honors people, you're not just leading well, you're changing lives. Which step spoke to you most today? Drop it in the comments. And if you're wondering what might be holding you or your team back from being and achieving your best, watch the next video. We'll explore what's really standing in the way. Let's keep growing together.